the work that nobody sees is the work that also really counts. If you look at Instagram, there's a lot of influencers out there, and people get the idea that this is what fitness looks like. You have PRs on Tuesdays, you have fun with everyone on Wednesday, you eat some great food and look amazing in the mirror on Thursday and Friday, and in the weekend you do a competition of some sort. You have perfect sleep and perfect life, and every milestone is celebrated in public. But then there's also the other version, and that's the version that I think is more the one that you have, which is the one that nobody sees. It is going up early in the morning when you're tired, still putting on your shoes, going to the gym, going to train 6:30 a.m. or getting to work, packing your bag, and hitting the gym after work, even having a super rough day and you really didn't want to go, but you still did it. Or you're maybe on the road, you see there's a gym in a hotel and you do a workout, you feel about 40% energized and motivated to do it, but you still do it. And you overcame that hurdle. The first 10 to 15 minutes, you might feel even super tired and still thinking that you want to quit, but you don't do it. And in today's episode, I want to talk about that second version of being or fitness, which I think is the one that actually really matters. And many people take this maybe a bit backwards. Welcome to this new episode of Never Start Over Again, and this is your weekly reset. We're here not to restart, but to realign. It's Monday. My name is Rickard, and I started this podcast many years ago, but decided to have this now on every Monday because I was looking for something I wanted to listen to every Monday to kind of get me going and see what the week brings me, put me some new perspectives, get me going, and not really to get inspired, but like get my mind going in the right direction. And I'm going to start this episode with a man who wrote for years in the dark when nobody saw him doing this. And we're going to end this episode with a bicycle accident in Berlin. So the man that I'm talking about, he was living in the early 1900s, and he by day was a clerk. He was respectable, he was reliable, he was invisible. He took the tram every day to work, he filed his reports, he came home. His colleagues never knew so much about him, but they thought of him of like quiet but conscientious. He did his work, but he never really stood out. And he didn't look that remarkable. But every night after everyone was in bed, he sat and wrote from midnight till 3 a.m. And he didn't write because he was looking to become famous or to have a publication. He didn't really have like a strong audience. But he felt compelled to do it. He didn't really know why he did it. He couldn't barely explain it himself. But he wrote a book called The Trial, The Metamorphosis, The Castle, And the author I'm talking about is Franz Kafka. You probably heard about him. And his books actually reshaped a lot of what people thought about, like alienation and identity and what it really means to be a human being. And it's pretty cool that these things were written without anyone knowing about it. But the coolest thing about this was that when he was about to die, he got tuberculosis. He told his friend Max that he should take all his scripts and just destroy them. He didn't want them to have published. But yeah, Max thought that would be a tragedy, so he didn't listen to him, and he went and published them. And yeah, Kafka kind of changed the world, or had an impact in the world, in the work that he was not really preparing for anyone. And I can relate to this, like when working on things that people don't see. And I think if you listen to this, you've probably also done that. You also done stuff that people don't see you're doing. You might do it for yourself, you might do it for other people. And for the last week I've been traveling. I was in Chicago last weekend, and yeah, it took a while to get back into my kind of old gears, but I still kept my routines going. I kept writing in the mornings. I kept on doing the things that I do on my regular basis. I trained most every day, even if I was tired or even I was jet lagged. And I know, I haven't been to the gym for the last 2 weeks now and still I know what's happening because I constantly watch and I constantly look at who is training, what is happening, what kind of results do we have in the gym. The team is also sharing inputs of like highlights. We talk about the highlights of the members, maybe the members that are struggling, trying to figure out how we can help them more. And what I've seen at Escapist over the years is also like the people that change their lives are also not always the ones who brag about it that much, but they show up even though they don't always feel like it. They do it after a long day at work. They come even if life is messy. They still show up. They still train. They reach out. And I could draw a long list of our members doing that. And just to mention some people that I have been members for a long time now, like Anna. She is like constantly getting stronger every year. Like her mobility is better, strength is better, her conditioning is better. Even guys like Matze, who hasn't been so consistent last year or so because of his side project, he is still also improving, even though he doesn't really maybe come into the same intensity as he was used to, but he's still improving. We have Max, Ole, Alex, Jaime, Arvid, plenty of guys that are like showing up, improving. Not to forget anyone, but like Kathy, Sarah, of course. You see them constantly improving, numbers going up. Just the consistency to do what they do. And I remember, I think it was last year, Jaime said he had like a serious bicycle accident, and the doctor told him like if he hadn't had his fitness and his fitness level, then he would have had like really permanent injury. He was really kind of bruised up, but he was training the week after already because his ribs were pretty bruised up, but he hadn't broken them. His knee was really bad, but he was still coming to the gym, and we were training and got him back, and he did a bench PR the other month here ago. So he didn't get fit in one day, but it was like 100 times that he has been training when basically nobody's been watching, and that invincible work made him strong enough to overcome that kind of accident. And he didn't decide to be fit once, but it was like the repetition of doing this 100 times before that made him as fit so he could survive that kind of situation. And I think many of us have these kind of life stories where our health and our fitness has really been there for us, and we take them kind of for granted. Sometimes not, but thanks to that we have them. Like, we just have more possibilities, and the truth is, like, most people don't have it. I know some other people that have been going through, even harder stuff, and that's also been places where, just because they had a very good stamina or fitness level already, they had the possibility to stand back. I trained, like I said, in Chicago in the hotel. I even did some handstands on the airport. I did some squats in the airplane. I obviously feel compelled to maybe do it somewhere as a role model, but obviously also just because I know I'm going to be doing better. When I felt very jet lagged, I know, like, if I do just a light session, I'm just going to feel better after doing that. And also reflecting on, like, I haven't been coaching regularly, like, on the floor for almost 2 years now, and I'm also, like, managing the business Escapist remotely. I mentor from all over the world, but mostly from home or from the office. I still train because I really believe that if I keep on doing that, I will have more option. I will be more resilient, and if I put in the work now, or if I do hard stuff at on the training floor, hard stuff in work is not as tough. Like, if something hurts physically, that is a different type of tough than like having a hard conversation or doing a lot of paperwork. That's a different type of hard, but you get this like distance and see, like, this is actually not so hard. Because what really is hard is when you feel like some kind of weight is almost crushing you, and then you get that kind of reflection of like, oh yeah, this is not actually so hard. This is just boring, maybe, or repetitive, and that's usually then boring. But yeah, I understand, like, some people might ask, like, am I still in Escapist? Am I still involved? Am I doing care? And because I'm not there every day, and I can understand the question, but I think it's also misunderstanding about where decision actually lives. And the decision to keep on going is not the environment. It is not the community or the coach or the schedule. Those things really help enormously, but the decision is always yours, and it's always made in your own privacy, and you do it repeatedly on early mornings or late evenings, and you do them when others might not see. And yeah, Kafka wrote between midnight and 3 a.m. and he didn't need an audience. He just needed to do the thing. And I think you also need to do the thing. It has to live within you, the decision to go on. And the same thing I feel compelled when it comes to keeping on the work with Escapist and the other things I do. Is that notion of like never start over again. And this is what I want you to take from this, is that the work you do when nobody's watching is not the preparation for a real thing. The real thing is the thing you're doing. The real thing is the daily thing that you're doing, the consistency that you do. And I think that is what many of our members are doing repeatedly, session by session, quietly sometimes, without like announcing it. And even though the world is like rewarding visibility of having more likes and posts and comments and public milestones, but the most impressive people are the ones that are actually just doing stuff without anyone seeing that what they do, but bring in enormous wealth and dedication to everyone else out there that is not asking for it, but you are there, you're fitter, you're healthier, and you bring more to the table than most other people do, just because you've done those decisions over years. And you deserve a lot of respect for doing that. And maybe if you're not there right now, then this is what I want you to do this week. It is to do, one session of training. You don't have to tell anyone about it, but you can do it in your own, because that is your decision for this week, to do one more session. And just see what happens within yourself when you just commit to doing that thing, overcoming that hurdle, if that is there. But is that like promise to yourself that you're keeping this momentum going for yourself? And maybe we're not going to become Kafka. Hopefully we don't have a bicycle accident like Jaime had, but at least we kept our promise to ourselves. And I think that is the thing that is most important to remember. All right, we're coming to the end of the episode now. And before you go, I just wanted to say to those who are not members of Escapist yet, and you want to have help with training, fitness, and so on, then we offer you a free assessment. Just click the link below and we'll happy to take you on and help you. And for you that are maybe in the professional scene and you're looking your coach or you want to become a coach, we have something called the Escapist Academy, which you can apply for and get into. If you're not local but you like the things that we're building, I'm setting up a free community for that, so you can join it from anywhere, and I will put the link below for that too. And before you go and out this week, I just wanted to say that, do something today or this week that nobody will see. Just do it anyway. And that is the work that really counts. And now I'm going to end off with a nice little quote by Tolkien again. And that quote is, "All that is gold doesn't glitter." Okay, see you next time. And we never start over again. Bye.